Okay, this has to be one of those Friends moments where absolutely nothing stays normal for more than 5 seconds. Right from the beginning, Rachel runs into Ross, and instead of simply saying hello, she somehow forgets his name. Ross introduces himself, and Rachel confidently calls him Ross Tillman. Wait, what? Then she tries again and somehow still manages to mess it up before finally remembering Ross Geller. And the funniest part is how Ross just stands there trying to stay polite through the entire disaster. But that's only the beginning. Rachel then finds out Ross is married, and suddenly the conversation turns into this awkward reunion between two people who haven't seen each other in forever. Then they run into Monica, Phoebe, and Chandler, and suddenly the whole scene becomes a full-on Friends reunion. And then Joey walks in. Now Rachel completely forgets everything because Dr. Drake Ramoray has entered the building. The funniest part is that Rachel knows Joey is an actor, but she's still talking about his character like he's an actual doctor. She starts talking about his dramatic storylines, and Joey just has to stand there and accept the compliments. That's the magic of Joey. He doesn't need to correct her immediately. He just enjoys being famous. But then we jump into another completely ridiculous situation. Someone is worried about losing money, and we're talking about $13 million, not $13, not 13,000, 13 million. And the reaction is basically, what am I going to do? Then the chest pain starts, and suddenly everybody's wondering if this is actually a heart attack. The timing is perfect because the character is already freaking out about losing money, and now the panic is making everything 10 times worse. This is exactly why Friends work so well. The characters take completely ridiculous situations extremely seriously, which makes them even funnier. And then we get another hilarious storyline involving a misunderstanding at work. Someone shows up thinking they still have a job, only to discover they've actually been fired. But instead of accepting it, they basically decide, okay, I'll just work here anyway. That is peak sitcom logic. Then the character casually takes over someone else's office and acts like everything is completely normal. Meanwhile, everyone around them is desperately trying to explain what actually happened. And somehow the situation gets even more ridiculous. Then we get one of those emotional Friends moments where comedy suddenly turns into something surprisingly heartfelt. A character admits that being with someone feels different. It's not just about attraction, it's about actually enjoying being around that person. And that little emotional shift is what makes the scene memorable. Because underneath all the jokes, Friends was always really good at showing how these characters cared about each other. Then, of course, the show can't stay serious for too long. The jokes come right back. And that's basically the entire formula here. Awkward reunion, wrong names, Joey pretending to be a real doctor, millions of dollars disappearing, possible heart attacks, workplace chaos, relationship drama. And somehow all of it happens in the same universe of insanity. Honestly, this is why classic sitcom scenes like this are so rewatchable. You already know the jokes are coming, but the reactions make them even funnier. And the best part? Every character somehow makes the situation worse instead of better. That's Friends at its absolute best. So if you had to spend one entire day with Ross, Rachel, Joey, Chandler, Monica, and Phoebe, would you survive? Because personally, I'd need a vacation after the first hour.